Hi everyone. I know it's been a while since I made a video on this channel, but I'm back now. So today I want to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with the story and be familiar with the animated series which came out back in 2005. I actually watched this while I was still a kid, but ever since then till now, I even watched it 3 months ago, and it's still one of the best um, animated stories ever. Not just animated, one of the best stories ever because of its touches on topics that affect everyone, the whole world. Not just some set of people, it's just everyone. You understand? And it went in depth into that topic and how we can actually get out of that situation. It also talks about bending, but if you guys remove the bending aspects, remove the violence aspects, you will learn a lot because of most of what actually went on in the last Airbender is actually going on today. And let's put that into perspective. Many people are actually not getting the point of Avatar, right? Because when problem actually strikes, it was caused by the Fire Nation, right? And that was where the original story came from. The four nations live together in harmony until one person decides that, okay, yeah, I am better than the rest of you and I should be superior to the rest of you. And that is the Fire Nation. What do we see going on today all over the world? Some people actually think they are better than the rest and decide that, okay, yeah, we deserve to stay in your place, we deserve to do this to you, we deserve to do that to you, and you have no right to complain. That same thing that actually went on here. Just because of somebody has a lot of money in their hands, then they decide that, okay, yeah, we are going to use our money and our resources to take over the world. Starting with this set of people. So yeah, I believe they actually started with the Enormans, annihilated them, like took them away. And the reason why they did that was because of the only person who can actually stop them was from that land. So what did they do? They don't know who he is. They just killed or unalived everyone in that from that race, from that nation, cleared everyone out, and that's quote unquote a genocide, and it is something that is recognized by the Avatar community. But I don't think they stress on it enough. Why? I know this might be an animated show, but with what is actually going on today and the closeness, the resemblance, it opens your mind more to the possibilities on how these guys can actually solve the problem. That was what I was actually thinking, that they will solve this problem in a very unique way, and it will be for the best because of one thing Avatar is always stressing on is balance, is the quote on balance. And what is balance? Balance doesn't mean equality, balance doesn't mean equity. Balance means things are working the way they're supposed to. Maybe you're a boy, you are going to function as a boy. If you're a girl, you are going to function as a girl. If this is a car, this car is going to function as a car. A car should not function as a scooter. No, that's imbalance. There's going to be a problem. So that is one thing Avatar is always stressing on. And I'm quite shocked after reading this comic. I discovered that there's a lot of imbalance, and the Avatar still went back to the enemy he actually fought and took a page out of his book to do something, to create something. And I'm shocked that the rest of the community just sees this as, oh yeah, this is the best route to take. But before we make that conclusion, let's bring a few factors in the mix. As it says here that the Fire Nation actually attacked, right? They were the ones who attacked first when there was peace and harmony between each and every one of them. They attacked first, and they didn't just attack for attacking sake. They attacked to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Then rebuild on the ashes. And what do they do to the rest of the people who are left behind? They take them as workers. who will work for them. And one thing you should know about the people of the Earth Kingdom is that the people of the Earth Kingdom are strong. So what did they do to the talented ones? They took them to a coal mine, like Haru's story. They took them to a coal mine, or they imprisoned the earthbenders because of they are the ones that might actually fight back, especially the alpha males. And many families were disrupted, many homes were destroyed, many people fled. That's the thing that happened in war. All those things happened, but they were not shown. But there's no how you would see it, because of the pain that people express in the story actually shows that the Fire Nation has actually done a lot of harm, and these guys actually did it for 100 years. And the reason why they were able to do it for 100 years, it was because the Avatar vanished. Well, along the storyline, you would notice that he didn't vanish. He actually died. Yeah, he died, and it was not rescued by his best friend, just because the best friend was blinded by power. The best friend actually sees himself and the rest of his people as superior to the rest of other nations because of they are more richer, and maybe they think they are more advanced than them. So they decide that they would rule over the whole world. That is the same thing that is going on today. Some people think they are better than the rest, so they deserve to rule over everyone else, which is kind of crazy if you ask me, and psychotic if you ask me. But it is going on today. And don't forget, this is actually coming from a kids show. Just to tell you that in All Children Tales contains truth, and this is the truth we are trying to uncover in this video. So guys, after the 100-Year War, Aang defeated Fire Lord Ozai, took away his bending, and Zuko became Fire Lord in front of the Four Nations, something that has never happened before in the history of the Fire Nation. So there is a map showing the colonies of the Fire Nation. So there's a colony here, there's a colony here. There are lots of colonies in the Fire Nation. But there's one problem with the colonies, and is that they've actually mixed. We'll get to that soon. Here we see Fire Lord Zuko telling the Earth King that he would do whatever it takes to remove the colonies. So, and Avatar Aang said he's going to help removing the colonies because he is the peaceful person. So he would make sure that everything goes peacefully. But let's talk about this for a while. I understand that the war has actually ended. So when the war ended, the Fire Nation is supposed to go back to their land, right? Like they have their own place, and they are rich, they have everything they ever want in their own place. So they are supposed to go back. It is not that they don't have a place to go. You are in a foreign land, you have your home, and there is nothing bad happening in your home. There is no war, there is no famine, there is everything you ever need in your home. It only makes sense that you go back. Even nobody's supposed to even tell you to go back. Because normally, these people who actually participated in the war and benefited from the war ought to pay back to the people who they took everything from, who they took their lives from, who they took their families from, who they took their land from for 100 years, right? But these guys didn't do that. They were still even in that land, and that's why Fire Lord Zuko here says he's going to do everything to remove the colonies, which is pretty reasonable. The Earth King, who has been lied to by his subjects in the past, was actually hopeful that things will turn back to normal in a peaceful way for his people, because of his people were at the receiving end of the stick, and they were the ones actually working towards the war. They were the ones actually making the metal work, doing all the hard work for the war. So everything is supposed to stop, right? And Saka actually chipped in to call it the Harmony Restoration Movement, which is a pretty catchy name and quite good. It actually sounds good, just like the Sustainable Development sounds good. But is that what it actually means, Harmony Restoration Movement? Because there was no harmony in what's to come. To cut the long story short, Eng and Zuko were actually traveling, and Zuko said he actually visited his father in prison, and he actually wants to tell Eng something, and that is the reason why they call this book The Promise. So Zuko here told Eng that if he starts becoming like his father, Eng should put a stop to him. I've actually had Superman say the same thing to Batman, saying if I actually go rogue, this you should put a stop to me. Here is some kryptonite, here's some this, here's some that. And Batman actually made a promise to put an end to it. I'm pretty sure if Eng is Batman, he would have done the needful to Zuko, but Eng is a person who, like, how will I put it? Apart from being a pacifist, if you guys actually watched the series, you would notice that Eng actually struggled to have friends. People actually didn't play with Eng because of Eng was more powerful, you understand, than them. So they believe it would be unfair if anyone he's on either was on either team. So he actually struggled with friends. If you guys also watch the series, you would also remember that when Ketaran Saka's dad um, gave a letter to a messenger to give to them, and intercepted that letter and clear out the path. He didn't give that letter to Ketaran Saka until it was too late, but he still gave it to them. And to be honest, that was pretty messed up of Eng to do something like that, just because of he didn't want to lose his friends. He was willing to hide things from them, things that they should know. He was willing to do that. That is to tell you how the length Eng will go to have his friends with him. And if you guys notice, he's alone, so there's nobody to go back to. He's the last airbender, and he doesn't want to be alone. That's what I feel was wrong with Eng, but it was still pretty messed up still. So Eng actually made the promise to end Zuko, but will he keep his promise? Long story short, Zuko is back at the Fire Nation and he couldn't sleep. Then he felt somebody try to assassinate him, which he was right. There was somebody trying to assassinate him, saying, "Down with the traitor, down with the Fire Lord who betrays his own people." Hmm. How did Zuko betray his own people? He stopped the war. Does it mean that there are some people in the Fire Nation that want the war to continue? What? Hmm. I want you guys to take note of all this because of the Avatar community is usually missing these things. They all miss these little these little things. She says the Fire Lord betrays his own people, and Zuko actually fights her off. But this is something I don't get. If you guys watched the invasion, to get to the Fire Lord Palace, there is a lot of security. A lot of security to get. And this girl actually did it alone. How is that possible? How is that possible? Just to even get from the gate of Azulon is crazy. Talk less of down to the royal palace that you had the opportunity to even meet. Come on, it's insane. It shouldn't even happen. And even if it did happen and you are caught, I don't know the reason why what reason you actually had, even if it is good or even if it is bad, and you are caught trying to assassinate a king or a leader of a set of people. That is straight death. It's a death sentence. They don't even need to give it to you. You give it to yourself. There's no way you can come out of it. There is no explanation. There is nothing. Literal nothing. You try to kill the leader is a sign of war. It's a sign of war. If it's a country, it's a sign of death. If it's an individual or a little group of people, they will annihilate everyone. And this girl was able to try to assassinate the Fire Lord. And guess what the Fire Lord did? So Zuko was able to unmask the girl, and the girl says that her family has been loyal to Zuko's family for generations, saying by getting rid of her, he would complete his betrayal. So the question is, how did Zuko betray the Fire Nation when he actually stopped the war? How? Simply means there are some people who want the war to continue because of what they are gaining from the war. Because one thing you should know, war is profit. So Zuko here asked her, your family? And she was like, yeah, my father is the mayor of Yudao. And Zuko was like, Yudao? Say, yes, Yudao, the first of the Fire Nation colonies. And she was like, yes, my homeland. Now, you and the Avatar are going to destroy it with the precious Harmony Restoration movement. So, what does this actually teach us? Yudao was the first colony. That means it was the oldest. And some people have actually lived there for 100 years. That is, the Fire Nation have actually been there for 100 years. She says that is her homeland. But this is something I actually want to tell people. If you actually stole something and you held that in for 100 years, it still doesn't mean it's yours. It still means it is stolen, no matter what. That is one thing I actually want people to get. So if that is a fact, if that is standard procedure, how did a stolen land become your homeland? Because if you call a stolen land your homeland, then the originals, where do they call their own home? Or are you guys not thinking about the original people of that land? Where will they call they can't go to the Fire Nation and call the Fire Nation their home. They will get burnt to death. So if you're calling their own land your own, where is their own? Something I feel the Avatar community is not asking or is not saying. So it turns out that Zuko was not 100% happy with it. Then he took the girl back to Yudao, which is crazy. She ought to be in prison. She is not supposed to accompany the Fire Lord down. The Fire Lord is not even supposed to go to Yudao himself. He's supposed to send a messenger to the governor of Yudao to send him to the Fire Nation. That the Fire Lord actually wants to see him for what the daughter actually did. You understand? And they would go there to actually discuss punishment for the daughter, because this cannot be forgiven, no matter what. I don't know what your intentions are. I don't want to know how young you are. No, there is no country in the world that would take an attempt on their leader's life lightly. Nobody. The father actually understood the severity of the situation. He went down on his knees, his head to the ground, begging for mercy. And Zuko was like, I should burn this whole place to the ground. Yes, he should. But that won't actually solve the problem. The place didn't cause the assassination. The person who actually tried the assassination is right there. And that's the only person that ought to be punished for it. So, guys, this is the most crucial part of the entire story. I want you guys to watch this with an open mind. It says here, why bother? The Harmony Restoration movement will accomplish the same thing without you having to lift a finger. Then Zuko was like, why do you colonials can't get it through your skulls that the Harmony Restoration movement was a means to peace? Yes, it was a means to peace, but not just any peace. For me, the Fire Nation should still pay for what they did to people for 100 years. And to be honest, their military should be stripped up from them. They shouldn't be allowed to make any military equipment, because that is how all this thing started. if they are not able to make any military equipment, they will not be able to fund their war. They will not be able to keep it going for 100 years. You understand? So the means of warfare should be stripped away from the Fire Nation, and there should be a lot of laws, there should be a lot of rules written to make sure that something like this did do not happen again. And I believe the Harmony Restoration movement was going that path until this happened. Then this governor was like, peace? Did you just say peace? He was like, peace for who? That question. Peace for who? Who is the peace for? Is it for we, the people of the Fire Nation, or is the peace for the rest of the world? And he's trying to tell Zuko that Zuko's is the Fire Lord, and his allegiance belongs to the people of the Fire Nation. That means he is saying he is from the Fire Nation, and he demands the Fire Lord to work for them. 100%, that is how it should be. Making reference to Ozai, the old defeated evil Fire Lord. He made reference to him, saying at least he was not a coward. We are getting there. And it was like, peace for who? If you guys actually remember, Sozin actually asked Avatar Roku the same question. He actually told him that Avatar Roku is from the Fire Nation, and his duty and his allegiance needs to be with the Fire Nation first. That was when Fire Lord Avatar Roku actually saw the first colonies, and he actually did something to stop the first colony. He stopped the first colony. Even after Sozin played the rhetoric that you are from the Fire Nation, you should give your all to the Fire Nation, Roku was not falling for that nonsense, because to him it is nonsense. It is not balance. It is anarchy. It is war. It is chaos. To steal from other people, that is what you are doing. You are destroying yourself. People won't be able to trust you anymore. And Zuko is trying to repair all that. At least that is what we were led to believe, that Zuko and Aang are trying to repair what Fire Lord Sozin actually did. Now he's saying peace for who? That means the peace is not for the people of the Fire Nation. They won't be seen as superior any longer. They won't be seen as the best. Instead, they will continue begging for mercy from the rest of the people. And I don't think he likes that. He says, with all due respect, Your Majesty, my family has lived on this land for generations. This city was built on our blood and sweat. We have as much a right to be here as anyone else. And guess what? The rest of the whole Avatar community actually went along with him and said, yes, this is true. This is 100% true. They've been here for generations, so they deserve to be here. No. I would say no. The reason why I would say no is that, number one, anything that is stolen is still stolen, no matter how long it takes. No matter how long it takes. And a way of balance is to make sure that the four nations live together separately. Avatar Roku actually explained that. Four nations live together separately, in harmony. The Fire Nation do their thing in their land. The Earth Kingdom do their thing in their land. The Water Tribe do their thing in their land. The Air Normans do their thing in their land, in their own space. They can come together for trade, and after trade or tourism, it is all. You can't come to the Fire Nation without the people of the Fire Nation knowing that is the right authorities, knowing you are coming in. If you don't go through that process, that means you'll be seen as a spy, and you guys already know how spies are treated. Thank you very much. So everything was done out of balance. Avatar Roku actually explained that. But now he's saying that they deserve to be there. Wait a minute, how did you even get there in the first place? How did the land become yours in the first place? Last time I checked, stealing other people's things, keeping it in your pocket for 100 years doesn't still mean it's yours. When the people who actually owns it are asking for it back, saying you now want to share it with them. Okay, wait. I steal from you now. And then the next thing is, okay, I tell you that I have the same right as you to be. Maybe I stole your house, and then you asked for it back, and I'm like, okay, I have the same right as you to be in your house because of maybe I added some windows and I fixed the roof, paid the electricity bill in a stolen house. Then I came to you and tell you that, okay, you won't be a slave anymore in your house. I'm going to free you, but I'm going to stay in the house with you. And how have you been staying in the house with you, the statu quo? You will still have your slave status. He will still have the master status in your own house. Will you take that deal? Nobody in their right mind, even those people who are actually supporting this nonsense, won't take that deal. They wouldn't take it. It is unreasonable. Nobody on earth will take it. But all of a sudden, everyone just agrees with this, like this is the most sensible thing they've ever heard in their life. This is pure nonsense. It is pure madness. You didn't build this place on blood. You guys did not come here and meet this land empty. This land was fruitful. This land had people in it. This land has everything was functioning as a normal society before you guys actually came in, steal and destroy and enslaved the people. Yes, because the people of the Earth Kingdom are the people who are actually working. The people of Fire Nation are not doing anything. They are just giving the orders. They are just laying out the plans. The people of the Earth Kingdom are the ones doing the real work. Just like Egypt, when they took the Israelites as slaves, the Egyptians are the ones who actually built the concept of the pyramid or every other thing. Then the slaves actually did the rest of the work. The Egyptians didn't do anything. The only thing they did was capture the slaves to work for them. Same thing that actually happened in the US and in Europe, where they actually took slaves. The slaves actually worked for them for free. So that is how that's what I actually believe is going on here. You don't have I'm pretty sure the reason why people are actually supporting this is because of they are actually staying in a stolen land too. Let's be sincere. Let's be truthful. Let's say the truth. The only person who will support something like this is somebody who is actually staying in a stolen land. And knowing that if they give the land back to the owners, they won't be welcomed there. Definitely you won't be welcomed there. Because of you are a reflection of their horrors. You are a reflection of their troubles. You are trauma to them. And one way to fight trauma is to remove the main cause, and that is you guys. And these guys, they have the guts to still stand and say, we have a right. What right do you have to be in another person's land? It's not yours in the first place. So what blood and sweat was it built on? The only blood and sweat you guys spilled was the people of the Earth Kingdom. And these parts, just these words alone changed Zuko's whole perception of the Harmony Restoration movement. Now, how did it, if it changed Zuko, you believe it won't change Aang, right? Because Aang is the man of peace, Aang is the man of harmony. Well, we will learn about that in the next part. I actually didn't know that this would take too long like this. I just wanted to, make this video. I actually wanted it to be a 10-minute stuff, but it's later become a 30-minute video. I hope you guys actually enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I will be doing the part 2 of this soon. I'll be doing the part 2. Just let me know what you guys think in the comment section about this one. Thank you guys for watching as usual. I'll see you guys in the next video.